Realtor.com just released their housing market predictions for 2024, and Spokane made the list in kind of an interesting way, so I'm excited to dig into it and talk about it. So I know a lot of people are hopeful for prices to drop, interest rates to drop, and make housing more affordable. Well, between what has happened today while I'm recording it with interest rates and what Realtor.com is predicting with home prices, that could be very possible. But let's see what is possible, what could be accurate. So as of today, while I'm recording this video, interest rates have fallen below 7% for the first time in 7 months since May of 2023. It's currently December of 2023, but interest rates for a conventional fixed rate mortgage are 6.62% today, and FHA loans are as low as like 6.1%. Obviously check your APR and all those things and talk to your lender, but so far these are the lowest interest rates we've seen in quite some time. And with interest rate buy downs and the motivation of current sellers in this market, some of those FHA borrowers are gonna be in the 5%, which is super awesome. So Realtor.com put out price predictions for the top 100 hottest real estate markets in the United States. And there's a list of the top 10 largest increases, which Spokane did not make, and the top 10 largest decreases, which Spokane did make. We're actually number 3 for the largest decrease in 2024. They're predicting our prices to fall by 10% year over year, which would be drastic. That would be one of the largest year over year changes we have seen. And to give you some context, let's jump over and kind of see where that would put us and why they're thinking that. So currently our home prices in Spokane are about $420,000. And so a 10% drop would be $42,000 and put us about $380,000, give or take, which we have seen within this year of 2023. That actually isn't that far away. January 2023, when Q4 of 2022 was incredibly slow. There were so few sales going on, but realistically about the same amount of sales that are going on right now. Basically what Realtor.com is saying is that they think that housing markets that got pressured too much in the last couple of years with home prices are going to actually start receding back to normal prices. What is a normal price? I don't know. There's no real definition of a normal price, but what they're saying, they kind of wrap us in with Austin, Texas, and they're going to talk about Austin a lot more because Spokane is not as big as Austin and not as popular, but they believe that Austin being a good example of a housing market that was stretched too far, home prices rose so sharply during the pandemic that even after the projected declines in 2023 and going forward into 2024, home prices will remain 29% above pre-pandemic levels, which would be basically true for Spokane. The highest we kind of saw right before the pandemic was $278,000 as the average price. And they're predicting a 10% drop in Spokane, which put us about $380,000. So that still put us at an increase of like 36% from pre-pandemic levels. So even from 2019, prices would still have increased quite a bit, even if we did see a 10% drop. So let's say it does happen. Who does this affect? Well, it affects a lot of people that bought a home between kind of May of 2021 to today. If that was the case. Anybody that kind of scored in that early January 2023, late 2022, you'd probably be fine. But if you're looking at selling in the next 1 to 3 years and this 10% drop does happen and you bought in May or June of 2022, then you're gonna have to be thinking about what are my options here. My house is worth quite a bit less than what I bought it for right now. So am I going to hold on to it and rent it? Do I have to move? Am I being forced to move for any reason? You're really gonna need a professional realtor in your corner to handle that situation because there are gonna be people that can advise you professionally in that situation. Now for buyers, should you wait for this 10% price drop? Well, here's my opinion. If a 10% price drop does happen, that would be really cool. But what I do know is that many of these predictions are never completely accurate. They predict a lot of things every single year that never actually tend to come to fruition. And so I wouldn't expect either way. I wouldn't say, I think prices were not supposed to increase this year. And so far year over year, we're at 2.6%. And if we look at January to January, once we get to that point, I think we're gonna see that prices went up like 10% if we really look at that. So because prices came down so low this past January, and I don't think they're gonna get that. I don't think they're gonna drop much more than this 420 in the next couple months because activity has picked up so much recently. But the great thing for you is that sellers are so motivated right now that you could potentially negotiate pretty dang close to that price. I'm closing on a home tomorrow with a buyer who is purchasing the home for 12% off the asking price. We negotiated from $750,000 down to $665,000, which that is not guaranteed on every home. And there's other ways to negotiate. Negotiating price isn't always the best way. We can negotiate terms and get your closing costs covered, have additional closing costs that can buy your interest rate down even more and make the monthly payment more affordable, because interest rate's going to impact your monthly payment more than the house price will. But I'm just saying that there's kind of a golden opportunity right now where there's a lot of buyers still sitting on the sidelines, and there's a lot of motivated sellers to where you could get into a home for a really solid price, and you're actually sitting at where interest rates are predicted to be at the end of 2024. Redfin put out their belief of what mortgage rates will do in 2024, and they believe that there will be a gradual decline. The Federal Reserve has been in talks about if they're going to start decreasing interest rates, and there's been rumors from anywhere from 3 drops to 6 drops. I would lean more towards the low end on that. I would say potential 3, but if that does happen, then it's likely that by this time next year, the average is gonna be 6.6. And so we're in a really good pocket right now where we're actually sitting at what they believe the lowest point of 2024 will be on average. Now, as interest rates fall and prices potentially begin to fall, there's going to be a larger mix of people that get into the market. There's going to be the first-time home buyers that have not been able to afford a home for the past year that are going to have more opportunity. There's going to be a lot more move-up buyers, people that have been in their homes since 2020 and have some equity 2021 and are able to sell. And if they see prices coming down or they think they're going to come down, they're going to try to get out at the right time, and then they're going to try to buy, maybe rent for a little bit, but buy when prices come down even further. Or they're going to make a lateral move and they're not really worried. They say, I think this is the peak for my home, and I'm just going to kind of catch this next house as my forever home. I'm not really worried about the price dropping a little bit right now because I'm going to live in this home for 15, 20, 25 years, and that isn't going to matter to me because I guarantee that prices are going to be higher, much higher in that amount of time, and the weekly, monthly drops up and down doesn't matter to them. But Redfin also believes that the amount of home sales is going to dramatically increase this year, an additional 500,000 home sales across the country, which would just mean a lot of inventory, and a lot of that inventory is going to come from those move-up buyers, people that have been sitting on low mortgage rates, and as they're able to potentially negotiate an interest rate in the 5, that distance between 3 and 5% isn't that far, and they can justify making that move. Based on this pie chart right here, only about 20% of Americans with mortgages have an interest rate at 5 or 6%. There's almost 85% of Americans that are below 6%. So the closer that the interest rate gets to where they are, I mean, I'm really looking at those people between 3% and 5% that are going to start making moves. You have over 53% of the country with those lower mortgage rates, and obviously not all of them are going to move, but there's people that want to move in that 50% that will start moving in 2024. Now, as they said in this article, a decline in both mortgage rates and housing prices at the same time might sound counterintuitive as to why would prices fall if mortgage rates are falling. If mortgage rates are falling, you would think prices are probably going to go up because more people are going to buy. But Realtor.com is predicting that buyers might wait it out even further to see if interest rates are going to go lower. So I think this is a short window where the consumer still believes that prices are going to go up dramatically, interest rates are going to stay high and go up higher. But I think what we're going to see in Spokane is that interest rates are going to come down. People are slow to act, and there's going to be an opportunity window where there are people that need to sell houses still, and maybe there's less inventory that there's ever been. And what I would always recommend is that patience is always going to win. But as soon as the consumer starts to actually believe that the Fed is going to start dropping rates, as soon as that first rate drop starts to happen, there's going to be a lot of motivation to get back out there. And so there's such low inventory on the market that I think even if all the move-up buyers come into the market, it is so hard to believe that there's going to be this rush of sellers and not an influx of buyers. Spokane over the last 3 years has been relatively equivalent. Like, the market has slowed down quite a bit right now. There are definitely more sellers right now than there are buyers, but not enough for prices to come down. As soon as there are more sellers because interest rates are going down, there's gonna be more buyers, and it's going to just kind of go up together. It's going to stay about the activity level of the market is going to stay about the same. There might be more transactions going on, but days on market and months of inventory could stay relatively the same. So I would just say any people that I've talked to over the last 4 years that have said, I'm waiting for prices to drop, I'm waiting for interest rates to drop, those things happen and then they still don't do something. So get into the market, what I would recommend is listening to this podcast right here by The Daily. This is a wonderful take on whether you should rent or buy right now. I think it really encompasses my beliefs in renting or buying, but buying a home for the short term is not ever really a good idea. I mean, no matter what market, those people that bought homes in the short term in 2018, 2019 really lucked out when they sold their house in 2020, 2021. If you're buying a home, you should buy it for the long term. Buying a home is less about the investment opportunity of that home for you, especially if you're going to live in it. Obviously, rental property is a different thing, but it's more about the investment in your life, in the memories that you're going to make there, and if you're going to stay there long term, 10, 15, 20 years, then you're actually going to make money on this home. So that's just my opinion for 2024. Be patient. Do something that makes you happy. And it's not just about the investment when you're buying your home. If you want to invest, talk to a financial planner, talk to a real estate advisor about truly investing in real estate rental properties and what that takes. But don't try and time the market on getting the absolute best interest rate, the absolute best price. Take opportunity where everyone is scared and negotiate your butt off to get the best deal possible. Anyways, my name's Haydn Halsted, your local real estate resource here in Spokane, Washington. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share it with a friend. And if you are moving to Spokane, there's a link down below in the description to schedule a meeting on my calendar at a time that's convenient for you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.